Chapter 6: How to Manifest Money in Abundance in Your Life. If you skip straight to this chapter because of its fancy title, I would advise you to read this book right from the beginning. Without the firm spiritual grounding and foundation laid by the rest of this book, you will not benefit from the full power of the spiritual exercises outlined in this chapter. Neither will you understand their true significance. Over the years, I have tried literally thousands of techniques to attract money and wealth into my life. These techniques range from the downright esoteric to bizarre, some of which I am even embarrassed to name here. We all know how we can sometimes be driven to the edge in desperation when we desperately want something to work and are willing to try anything at any cost. Fortunately for me, the search ended once I realized these universal principles. I am first going to lay down a few counterintuitive spiritual principles before going through them in greater detail. The single biggest reason why people try endless metaphysical techniques to manifest what they want is because they perceive a lack of the things they are asking for. In other words, we try to attract money into our lives because we perceive money is lacking. It sounds simple enough, doesn't it? But there is also a deeper spiritual significance. What if I told you that money isn't really lacking in your life? If someone had told me this back then, I might have thought they were crazy. Every single physical sign pointed to the money not being in my life. And here's a guy who tells me that money isn't really lacking in my life? What if I kick it up a notch and tell you that not only is money not lacking in your life, it is actually present in great quantities and great abundance right now? Are you still with me? Look, I am not referring to metaphors commonly used by motivational authors. I am not saying there is a great amount of wealth and abundance in the world right now, and there is more than enough for everyone. What I am saying is that in your life, this very moment, there is an endless flow of wealth, prosperity, and abundance. Right now, you are standing amongst a field of beautiful flowers without even realizing it. You are in your own field of goodness without even realizing that you are there. Therefore, how can you ask for more abundance or money to come into your life when you already have everything you need? How can you ask for more to be added to more? Give up the notion that you need to ask for money in your life. All the money you need is already here for your taking and usage. But why don't you see it yet? Why isn't this truth reflected in your bank accounts yet? The reason is that you are asking for the money so hard. That is what you are resonating with every single moment of your day. Your feeling of lack and worry are so strong that it is where your entire consciousness is focused. If you can find a way right now, this very moment, to reduce your feelings of lack to zero, to be in a place of nothingness, in a state of no worries, then all the money you need will flow into your physical experience quicker than you can imagine. Therefore, asking hard for something is a large part of the quote-unquote problem. When you perceive a need to ask very hard and desperately for something, you are confirming its lack in your life. That's why you need to ask so hard for it, because the thing which you seek is not here yet. And if you continue to immerse yourself in these feelings of lack and not here yet, that is a reality which you are going to perpetuate. Reality and the underlying energy is constantly changing and flowing every single moment. Just that you have, through the power of your own thoughts, force reality to change to the same unwanted circumstances over and over again. What was the technique I used that allowed me to overcome the tides of my own negative feelings and conditioning? It is simple. I simply disconnected myself from all the negative worrying and lackful thoughts. I closed my eyes and focused within. I stopped asking for money in my life. I just closed my eyes, went within, and became still. Not expecting anything, not wanting anything, and not wanting to make anything happen. When you have been immersed in lackful and negative thoughts surrounding money for the longest time, the first thing you have to do is to disconnect yourself from all those negatively created thoughts. Disconnect from them completely by not even trying to replace them with something positive. Instead, go into the void where there is only emptiness and stay there. Disconnect from all your past fears, worries, and all that negative, messy thinking about your financial situation. Don't even think about it. Go into your inner world and immerse yourself in the emptiness there. When you first attempt to do this exercise, a few things may result. In the first couple of minutes, all the worry and fear thoughts are still going to pass your conscious awareness and grip you. They are still going to appear in all forms and scare you. But each time those thoughts appear, understand that they are merely projections of your ego. They are not real. They can be changed. But don't even try to change them. Instead, just notice them and let the thoughts gently drift past. Don't follow the stream of thoughts and entertain a single thought in your own mind. Just breathe deeply and focus within. After the first couple of minutes have passed, you may find the intensity of these worrisome thoughts decreasing. You may notice an underlying good feeling, like goosebumps welling all over your body, and a sense of unconditional well-being. Notice how this good feeling is not conditional on anything that is in your external reality. It arises spontaneously. This is part of your true spiritual essence. It is your natural state. This good feeling is always there, whether you are aware of it or not. These good feelings is your first recognition of the glorious abundance that lies within. You are starting to notice these good feelings that have always been there. As you start to pay attention to these good feelings, they will intensify in a way that is profound and personal for you. You may feel spontaneous feelings of joy, peace, and excitement on the inside. I can feel this feeling even as I am writing these words. I can feel the underlying sense of great peace and joy just welling up underneath the surface of my conscious awareness. This is the infinite power that we all have access to. This is our eternal essence and our eternal abundance. Notice also that when you pay attention to these underlying good feelings, that you feel further and further away from your fear and worry thoughts. The more you notice these good feelings within yourself, the less you notice or think those negative fear thoughts. Those negative fear thoughts simply cannot exist when you are aware of the good feelings. What is happening here? When we are aware of the underlying pleasant feelings that we have beneath our conscious awareness, we are opening our inner eyes to the field of flowers, in other words, abundance, that has always been there. We are recognizing this great spiritual truth and coming face to face with its possibility for the very first time. Notice how no effort is needed on your part to feel these good and pleasant feelings. No work is needed on your part. You do not have to try to feel good or try and conjure up these good feelings. There is no trying. There is no doing. There's only being. Right now, in this very moment, there's only beingness. You are not even engaged in any action to make something happen. simply by becoming still, quieting the mind from your usual thoughts, and dropping those extraneous thoughts from your mind. You are coming face to face with your true and abundant nature. I want you to observe and notice how no work is required at all on your part to feel these good feelings. Observe how this no work feeling feels like. Observe how this feeling of non action and no doing feels like. You are not doing anything. You're just sitting there quietly in your chair and perceiving these good feelings. You are perceiving universal goodness simply by slowly becoming aware of it. This is the only proof you need that universal goodness and universal abundance exists for every single one of us. This is, in fact, the surest proof that it exists. I have never tried hard to convince anyone in words that our universal good flows for each and every one of us. Instead, I have always invited them to try this powerful exercise for themselves. When you quiet the mind and focus within, you notice those spontaneous good feelings welling up within you without any effort on your part. The fact that spontaneous feelings well up with no intervention or input on your part means that they are your natural birthright. This is a natural phenomenon. This happens whether you like it or not. Your good flows to you whether you are aware of it or not, whether you ask for it or not, whether you think you deserve it or not. This experiment proves to us clearly that our good flows to us on its own accord. There is an unlimited supply of benevolent, universal energy that is always flowing to us. If the universe is not benevolent in nature, as some people falsely believe, if we had to struggle hard for our good, as many people wrongly believe, then you would feel absolutely nothing, or even bad feelings as you did this exercise. You would not be able to perceive anything good coming to you. These pleasant feelings would not become apparent to you. Why is it that millions of individuals around the world who have tried this exercise in one form or another felt only goodness flowing to them? Why is it that millions of individuals who are so different in beliefs, education, culture, upbringing, or lifestyle have felt or will feel the universal goodness flowing to them the moment they do this exercise with absolutely no effort on their part? Notice what happened in your case. What did you have to do to perceive the universal goodness? That's right. You had to do absolutely nothing. There was nothing you needed to do, no place you needed to go, no action you needed to take. Instead, you only had to drop certain thoughts from your conscious awareness. You had to drop the negative and fear thoughts that were competing for your conscious awareness and attention that same moment. You had to momentarily pay no attention to them before you could perceive the underlying goodness that has always been there. You had to take off your tinted glasses to see the world as the universe sees it. Do you realize now why this is the best quote-unquote technique I have used for manifesting wealth and abundance in my life? This isn't even a technique because there is nothing to do. All I did was to merely sit quietly by myself in a place where I would not be interrupted, close my eyes, and focus inwards. Once I had done so, I observed the mind chatter that went by without engaging in any of it. Gradually, I perceived the universal goodness, or magic feeling as I describe in my book of the same name, until my perception of these pleasant feelings became more and more intense. That is the only thing you have to do if you do anything at all. 3 times a day, 15 minutes each, will disconnect and disengage you from your old reality and create a new tiny opening that is just what is needed for wealth and abundance to flow into your life.